माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपीजन बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय विश्वपाद परमहंस प्रवाजिकाचार्य श्री श्रीमद कृष्ण कृपा श्रीमूर्ति श्री भक्तिमान महाराज शील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विश्वपाद परमहंस प्रवाजिकाचार्य श्री श्रीमद सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नाम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ स्वामी की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। कार्तिक मास की जय। करुणामय श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। गिरिराज महाराज की जय। गौर ब्रह्मानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Madhaya Krishna Vishnu Simon Bhagavan Krishna Vishnu Prabhupada Sahiti Mabhaka Shruti Irja Pachan Gitwan Sadhu Bhagavad Namo Vishnu Madhaya Krishna Vishnu Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Vicharane Nirvisheshan Madhipashad Jastane Om Jnana Timrandhasya Jnananjan Shalakaya Chakshunmilitamena Tasma Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yen Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utpadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagan Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanti Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhayasya Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Paramanande Madhavam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Shri Gurum Dinatharani Hare Krishna. So on this very auspicious occasion of Giriraj Dharan, the lifting of Govardhana hill, the great celebration which Krishna himself has recommended to be celebrated in Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Lord says, if you don't celebrate, then there are so many snakes living in the caves of Giriraj, they will come and bite you. So a snake from Giriraj may not come and bite us, but the snake of Mahakal, this Kal, the time, is already biting us. So in order to save ourselves from the biting, poisonous biting of the snake of Kal, Mrityu, death, and all the fears, we take shelter of Giriraj, Govardhan, and become fearless. So we're going to start with the prayers of Giriraj Maharaj by Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. This is known as Sri Govardhan Vas Prathana Dashakam. So there are 10 shlokas, and they are praying to Giriraj Govardhan so that we can become one of the residents of Giriraj in Vrindavan. So I'm just going to read 2 verses, and then we will have more Giriraj Katha. Nijpati bhujidanda chatra bhavam prapadya pratihatam madhdrashto udyendra uddanda devendra garva atul prathul shail shreni bhup priyam me निज निकट निवासम देहि गोवर्धनत्वम निज निकट निवासम देहि गोवर्धनत्वम निज निकट निवासम देहि गोवर्धनत्वम. So in this verse it described Nijpati bhujadanda chatra bhavam prapadya. That the last line is saying Nij Nikat Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam. O Giriraj, please give me the residence at your divine lotus feet. So somebody might ask, why are you asking to become a resident of Govardhan and not of Vrindavan or Barsana or Nandgram or Seva Kunj or other places? Why Govardhan? So the devotee is explaining here that I'm asking Giriraj because of a number of reasons. Some reasons are given here. Nijpati bhujadanda chatra bhavam prapatya. Pratihata mada dhrashto danda devendra garva. Atul prathul shaila shreni bhupa priyam me nij nikat nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. Now, before explaining the meaning of this verse, I want to say a couple of things about the efficacy of this prayer, which I have seen personally. So many years back, I was doing Govardhan Parikrama on this day, Govardhan Puja Day, with one wonderful Vaishnava. Now he is a sannyasi. His Holiness Gaur Narayan Maharaj. And he was the temple president of ISKCON Govardhan in Vrindavan. So he is a disciple of Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and took sannyas from His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj. So he spent many years working very hard to develop ISKCON project in Govardhan in Vrindavan, Radha Kund. It was just a school. That building used to be just a school, primary school for children. And it was owned by a king. So His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and His Grace Mahamantra Prabhu from ISKCON Delhi, somehow they acquired the building with the help of Mahamantra Prabhu. Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj acquired that building, and Gaur Narayan Maharaj, he spent many years developing that project. Now, before this project developed, I was doing parikrama with him. So I was carrying this prayer book with me while doing the parikrama. So doing the parikrama takes about 5-6 hours. Even if you walk very fast, it will take you at least 4.5 hours, 5 hours. So time to time you'll see some devotees. They'll do parikrama for 2-3 hours and take a little rest. So we were just sitting down, resting, and I started chanting these prayers. And once I finished chanting these prayers, then he asked me, "What are you chanting?" I said, "I'm chanting Sri Govardhana Vas Prarthana Dashakam." So he said, "Can you give me the book?" So I gave him the book. So he chanted these prayers. But the chanting of his prayers, these prayers by him, was so intense. He's very advanced Vaishnava, very intense. And obviously, Krishna has blessed him that he is a sannyasi and guru now. His Holiness Govardhana Maharaj. And he chanted with such sincerity and such intensity these prayers which I'm chanting to you. And very soon, it so happened that he was doing service in Vrindavan, ISKCON Vrindavan temple. And Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj came to Vrindavan and he asked the temple president that actually I want my disciple to go to Govardhana and develop a project there. Very soon after, just after a few months. So he had the opportunity to live at Govardhana for many years and do incredible service, particularly developing an ISKCON project at the foothill of Giriraj Govardhan. As soon as you open the door of the temple room, you see Giriraj. If you go on the roof, you see Giriraj right there. So very powerful prayers. These prayers are really powerful. And particularly when we chant the prayers given by the Acharyas, they're very powerful. So although it is fine to chant our own prayers, offer our prayers in whichever language, but if we chant the prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam or the prayers written by the Acharyas, they have very powerful effect. So this one I have seen personally. And then many years later, I asked Maharaj that now you have become resident of Giriraj. And he said, yes, remember we were doing parikrama, and that day I chanted those prayers and I was praying to Giriraj. He really meant what these prayers were saying. Nij nikat nivasam dehi govardhanatvam. O Giriraj, you're so merciful. You gave shelter to all the Brijavasis, but please give me shelter. Let me become a resident at your foothill. And he became a resident. So now Maharaj lives in Vrindavan. He developed the project and he travels now. He is a spiritual master, sannyasi, but he remained very attached to Vrindavan, to Govardhan. So somebody may say, why are you asking? So the regions are given here, many regions, but let's see some of the regions given here. Nijapati bhujadanda chhatra bhavam prapadya. Pratihat mad drishto dand devendra garva. Atul prithul shaili shreni bhupa priyam me nij nikat nivasam dehi govardhanatam. O Giriraj, please make me a resident at your foothill. Please give me the residence in Govardhan. And the regions are that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to crush the pride of Indra, was holding you on his finger for 7 days. So you became like an umbrella to the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and all the Brajavasis. And because you serve the Lord in such a wonderful way, so I want to become a resident. I also want that shelter which Brajavasis had taken under your under you. And just one more verse. Haridaitam apurva radhika kundamatma priyasakham ih kanthe narmana aling uttaha नव युव युग खेलास तत्र पश्यन रहो में निज निकट निवासम देहि गोवर्धनत्वम. So verse number 5 here. Again, somebody may say that why are you insisting to become a resident of Govardhana? So here is another reason. That, O Giriraj, please make me a resident at your lotus feet, because the most important place in the spiritual planet, Shri Radha Kund, is your great friend, and you are embracing that great friend, Radha Kund, because you have so much affection. And in Radha Kund, Shri Radha Krishna, the divine couple, are performing many pastimes as they perform in your caves. So Giriraj, Govardhan, has many holy places, many pastime places. And the most important place, Radha Kund, is also in that region, in Giriraj. So Giriraj is the reservoir of many wonderful places of pilgrimage. One of them is Radha Kund. Okay, let's just read one more verse. Giri Nirpo Haridas Shreni Vareti Namam. Giri Nirpo Haridas Shreni Vareti Nama Amritam Muditam Shri Radhaka Vaktra Chandrat Brijajan Tilakatve Klipta Vedahi Sputam Me Nij Nikat Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam. Then again, why are you asking to become a resident? Oh, I'm asking to become a resident because Srimati Radharani has glorified you as the topmost devotee of Lord Hari. So Giri Nirpo, O King of the Mountains, I'm asking to take shelter at your lotus feet and become a resident because Srimati Radharani in Srimad Bhagavatam is glorifying you as the topmost devotee of Lord Hari. Srimati Radharani says, Hant ayam adri abala haridas varya. Just see this great resident, this great servant of Lord Hari, the greatest servant of Lord Hari, Giriraj. This Giriraj is no ordinary mountain. He is the great servant of Lord Hari, the greatest servant of Lord Hari. So Srimati Radharani has described you as the topmost servant of Lord Hari, and in the transcendental holy abode of Vrindavan, Giriraj is like the tilak. So we put tilak on the top of our head. So Giriraj is the tilak in the holy land of Shri Vrindavan Dham. So just like in a body, head is the important part, most important part. If the head is cut, then we die. So in this transcendental abode, Brijadham, Giriraj is not only the topmost holy tirtha, it is known as a tilak. ब्रजधन तिलकत्व क्लिप्त वेद ही स्फुटम में. In all the Vedas, it is described that actually you are like a tilak, the topmost symbol of devotion, service to Lord Hari, Shri Radha Krishna. Shri Giriraj Govardhana ki jai. So these were the prayers which set a scene how Giriraj is so important in Brij Mandal, and now we will hear some of the pastimes of Giriraj Govardhan. This is one more prayer of Giriraj in Giriraj Khand of Garg Samhita. So some of the pastimes that we will relate today have been taken from Garg Samhita. Namo Vrindavan Ankaya Tubhyam Golok Maulini Purna Brahmat Patraya Namo Govardhanaya Cha. O Giriraj, I offer my obeisances to you. Namo Vrindavan Ankaya, you are like a lamp in Vrindavan, and you are also the topmost, Golok Maulani, the topmost, the crest jewel, the crest jewel of Golok Vrindavan. Purna Brahmat Patraya, and you have served the Purna Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, as an umbrella. Namo Govardhanaya. O Govardhan, O Giriraj, I offer my obeisances to you. So this verse mentions Giriraj as the crest jewel of Golok Vrindavan. Why not Gokul Vrindavan? Why Golok? So there is a reason why Golok, because Giriraj comes from Golok. Just like in India, even to this day, people like imported things. It's just Indian mentality that everything imported is good. So nowadays what's happening? That in England and other countries in the West, they are importing from India and selling back to India. Or they are importing from Bangladesh, India, Indonesia, Malaysia. And then some same things are packaged in the West, say in the UK, and they are sent back to India to be sold in higher prices. This was happening during the independent India as well. There was nothing manufactured at that time. So even a matchbox was not manufactured in India. But what they would do, they will take all the raw material. So clothes and all the necessities of life, they were manufactured in the UK. But the raw material was taken from India. So they will bring and take them to Lancashire Mill and then sell them back to India. So people like imported things. So in the material world, Giriraj has been imported. He is not not part of this material world. He is imported. Golokara Premadhana Harinama Sankirtan Ratina Janmilo Helata. So just like Harinam Sankirtan, the holy name comes from Goloka. Golokera Premadhana. This is not the creation of the material world. So similarly, Giriraj comes from Goloka. So he has been imported from Goloka. But how did he come from Goloka to this Loka, Bhuloka, or Gokul Vrindavan? Once it so happened that in Goloka, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was performing his Rasa dance. So Krishna's Rasa dance is going on eternally in Goloka and also in Gokul Vrindavan. Eternally it's going on. Because this is what the Lord is doing. Anand Chinmay Rasa Pratibhavidhavis. Anandmaya Abhyasa, the Supreme Brahman, Parabrahman, Sri Krishna, is Anandamaya. He is Leelamaya, Anandamaya. He is performing his pastimes. He is Satchidanand, my Vigraha. So he is full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. So he is performing his Anand Leela in Golok Vrindavan. Especially Rasa dance, it's Rasa Leela. So once it so happened that having performed Rasa Leela, the Lord was resting along with Srimati Radharani in a kunja, in a grove. So at that time, Srimati Radhika looked at the Lord with her sidelong glances and spoke. Shri Radha Vacha, Srimati Radharani said, Yadi rase prasannavasi mam premana jagatpate, tadaham prathanam tvam tu karomi manasi stiram. So Srimati Radharani said, My dear Lord, O my most beloved, if you are happy with my performance of Rasa dance with you and my love for you, then I want to ask you something. See, Srimati Radharani is very expert in speaking. When she spoke like this, it immediately melted the heart of the Lord. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. It doesn't say here Krishna Vacha. It says Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Krishna is Bhagavan. Krishna is the Bhagavan Swayam. So when we hear these pastimes, we have to remember this. Krishna is the Bhagavan Swayam. Ichcham vare bamoru yate manasi vartate. Nadeyam yadi tadvastu premana dasyami tatpriye. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Ichcham vare vamoru yate manasi vartate. Nadeyam yadi tadvastu premana dasyami tatpriye. So Krishna is addressing Srimati Radharani as Priya. O dear most Gopi, who is so dear to me, if you have any desire, I never thought that there is any desire of you which I have not fulfilled. So if you have any desire, even if it is the desire that I cannot fulfill, I cannot give. If you ask me something I cannot give, I would still give. So that was the promise of the Lord. Then Srimati Radharani expresses her desire. Vrindavane Divya Nikunja Parshve Krishna Tate Rasa Rasaya Yogyam Rahasthalam Tvam Krutan Manogyam Manorathoyam Mama Deva Deva. So this was the desire of Srimati Radharani. O my most worshipable Lord, I desire that in Vrijadham, in Vrindavan, you find a suitable place for our rasa dance, which is very beautiful and also is secluded. So Srimati Radharani desired a beautiful rasa dance, a place, secluded place, which is full of all facilities, all amenities, all wonderful things. Then what happened? So Narad Muni is narrating this story to a king, Bahulashva, in Mithila. So this king Bahulashva was a king coming in Janak Maharaj's tradition. So he was a descendant of Janak Maharaj, and he desired to hear Krishna Katha from Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is now relating this Katha to King Bahulashva. So Narad Muni then described to King Bahulashva what happened after that. He said, Tathastu choktva bhagwan raho yogyam vichintayan swanetra pankaja abhyam tu hridayam sandadarshaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna said, Tathastu. So be it. Wanted to fulfill the desires, the prayer of Srimati Radharani. And the Lord sat on a meditation with half-closed eyes. And with his half-closed eyes, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, was looking at his heart. Just like we meditate, the yogis are meditating, and they meditate upon the Paramatma. But here, Paramatma himself is meditating. The source of Paramatma is meditating on himself. So who does he meditate? Who does he have to meditate? Then he will meditate on himself. And this is what he used to do when the Supreme Lord was in Dwarka. When Krishna was in Dwarka, he would get up in the morning, refresh himself, and then meditate. Now the whole world is meditating on him. So who does he meditate on? So he meditates on himself. So when the Lord was meditating on himself, from his meditation, something amazing happened. Tadeva Krishna Hirdayat Gopi Vyuhasya Pashyatah Nirgatam Sajalam Tejo Anuragaseva Chankuram. So our heart is the reservoir of love. And the heart is also the reservoir of life. So when the heart is pumping, we are alive. When the heart stops pumping, then we are dead or we are put on ventilator. So they keep the heart pumping for some time, but eventually, if the heart stops, then you will die. So heart is the reservoir of life and love. So the Lord looks at his heart, and the personified love of Krishna appeared from his heart Nirgatam sajalam tejo anuragasya chankuram. Like a small pea, very small pea. It appears like a small pea. We call peas. And as the gopis were looking at this small pea kind of substance, it started growing. Patitam rasa bhumau tad vabridhe parvatakriti ratne dhatumayam divyam su nirjhar udrivritam. So as the gopis were looking at this substance appeared from Krishna's own heart, it took a form of a mountain. It fell on the ground in Rasabhumi, Rasamandala, and took a shape of a mountain. And it started increasing in size. This mountain had all kinds of uh, jewels. There were jewels, forest, flowers, caves, and all facilities for Krishna's pastimes. So there's a very elaborate description in Gurga Samhita of this mountain, Giriraj, appearing from Krishna's own heart. Kadamba Bakul Shok Lata Jal Manoharam Mandar Kund Vrindadhyam Supakshri Gan Sankulam Shanamatrena Vaideha Lakshayojan Vistutam Shatkotir Yojana Nam Lambitam Sheshvat Punah. In a moment, within a second, within a moment, this mountain started increasing in size. It had many trees like Kadamba, Bakul. It was very beautiful. There was a very nice breeze, fragrant breeze of air. And there were many, many beautiful trees, birds, and many animals. So this mountain was full of transcendental opulences, all kinds of transcendental opulences. But what happened that within a second, the mountain started increasing in size and covered the whole Goloka. Urdham samuntam jatam panchashat koti yojanam karindra vastitam shashwat panchashat koti vistrutam. So when Govardhana appeared, it was millions of miles, high millions of miles, long millions of miles in width. So actually Govardhana was very, very huge in size. So when the Golokvasis saw this mountain covering the entire planet, they started becoming disturbed and they turned to Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, what is happening? What is happening? Kolahale tada jate golok bhave vale viksh uttai hari sakshat hastin asu tadaratam. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead slightly slapped Govardhana. What are you doing? This is nonsense. Why are you increasing like this? So his name is Govardhan. Go means the senses, cows, opulence, and Vardhan means increasing. So Govardhan increases the Go Sampati and Golok Vrindavan and Gokul Vrindavan. So cow, go, is the reservoir of all the opulences, and also the resident of all the demigods and Krishna's worshipable. So it mentions in Brahma Samhita that actually Krishna manifested cows from his mind. So cows are very dear to the Lord because they manifested from his mind. Kim vardase bho prachinnam lokamachad tishtasi kim va nachayate vasitum tachantim akarodhari. So when this was noted by the Lord and Krishna chastised Giriraj, then Govardhan actually became pacified. Now at that time, Govardhan was a very vast, covering the whole Goloka. Then Govardhan actually became shrunken only to the size of the Rasmandal arena. But the size of Golok Vrindavan is so huge that we can't even conceive. Millions and millions of miles we cannot conceive. So same Govardhan then appears in Bhulok and Gokul Vrindavan. And the story, the pastime, how Giriraj appeared in Gokul Vrindavan is also very beautiful. So in Gokul Vrindavan, before Krishna decided to come, he was contemplating his incarnation on Bhuloka, on earthly Vrindavan, because he was prayed by Lord Brahma and all the demigods to come and eradicate the demons. So one day, the Lord mentioned to Srimati Radhika that I'm contemplating to incarnate on earthly planet, Bhuloka. Would you come with me? Srimati Radhika said, wherever you go, I must go. But I'm hesitant to go to Bhuloka. Krishna said, why? She said, I don't like to reside in a place where there is no Yamuna, no Vrindavan, and no Govardhan. So Krishna understood, and then he manifested Vrindavan, Yamuna, and then Govardhan on the earthly planet. So on the earthly planet, Giriraj was manifested, and the pastime relates to another mountain called Dronagiri, who is the father of Giriraj Govardhan on earth planet. So before Krishna comes, his dham manifests, and then Yamuna Maharani also manifests, and then Giriraj also manifests. These three things, Vrindavan, Yamuna, Govardhan, they all manifest before Krishna comes to prepare for the Lord to appear. So Dronagiri is a great mountain, and he performed many austerities to get a son. And pleased by his austerity, then he received Govardhan as his son. So when Govardhan was born to Dronagiri and Shalmal, part of the earthly planet, many mountains, including Himalayas and other mountains, they came to take his darshan. And great mountains like Mahendra Parvat, Himalaya, and all the great mountains on the planet, when they saw Giriraj, when they had darshan of Giriraj, Govardhan, they said, "You are our king," because they understood that this is not an ordinary mountain, although he was just a child. But they accepted him as their king, Giriraj. That's why he's known as Giriraj, the king of all the mountains. And they blessed him and then went. So Giriraj was being brought up by his father, Dronagiri, and he was very happy, living like a child. One day, Purat's Muni, who was traveling in all the holy places in the universe, he came to Dronagiri's house. Purat's Muni is the son of Lord Brahma, and he is also the forefather of Ravana. He is the grandfather of Ravana. So when he came to Dronagiri, he found the mountain was full of all wonderful facilities, minerals, water, flowers, fruits. So he felt very pacified, very satisfied. But then he also noticed that Dronagiri had a son called Govardhan. And he was thinking that Lord Shiva, so Pulas Muni is a devotee of Lord Shiva, and he lives in Kashi. So he thought Lord Shiva, his worshipable Lord, he lives in Kailash. And in Kailash, there is a nice mountain. Kailash is a mountain. Lord Parashuram, he lives in Mahendra Parvat. So all these great personalities, they have their own mountain. So he thought, why not just to ask Dronagiri if he can give me his son? Because his son is most virtuous of all the mountains, and he has got all the opulences that I need for my meditation. So he approached Dronagiri. He said, I'm very pacified, very satisfied with your hospitality, and I would like to ask you something. So Dronagiri knew that Pulats Muni is a very powerful sage. So although he was afraid, but he promised. He said, yes, please ask, what can I do for you? So he said, I just want your son. Can you give me your son? And Pulats Muni was almost fainted. Just like remember the pastime of Lord Nityanand. The sannyasi comes to the house of Harai Pandit. He's asking Harai Pandit, just before leaving, that actually, can I have your son, please? Because I don't have any assistant. So your son will assist me in my travel of the holy places. And Harai Pandit could not say anything. He had to just say yes. So Dronagiri said yes. So Govardhan heard this, and he really didn't want to go to Kashi. Kashi is the residence of Lord Shiva, his place of Lord Shiva. He wanted to go to Vrindavan because that is his place. So he said to the sage, very humbly, my dear sage, how will you carry me? Yes, my father wants me to go with you, but how will you carry me? Pullas Muni said, don't worry. I'll lift you on my hand, and with my mystic power, I'll fly like Hanuman. Govardhan said, fine, but I have a condition. If you put me somewhere, then that will be the place I will reside forever. So Pullas Muni said, yeah, that's fine, no problem. So Pullas Muni took Govardhan on his hand, and he was flying. So while he was flying, he passed through Vrindavan. And Giriraj saw Yamuna, he saw Vrindavan, he saw Rasmandala, Rasmandapa. And he said, now is the chance. This is my place. I don't want to go to Kashi, to Lord Shiva's place. This is my place. I want to stay. I want to live here. I want to stay here. So then he manifested his opulence by becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. And he became so heavy that Pulas Muni became tired and he wanted to just uh, rest for a while. So he got down and put Giriraj on Rasamandal in Vrindavan. So he got down in Vrindavan. He thought, okay, I'm feeling very tired. There is Yamuna here, the holy river is there, and let me just take a bath, refresh myself, and then I'll go to Kashi. So Pulas Muni, he went to Yamuna, took his bath, and after refreshing himself, wanted to lift Giriraj again. And no matter how much power he applied, he could not lift him. So he said, Govardhan, what is happening? Govardhan said, my dear sage, I had mentioned to you that if you put me on the ground, that will be the place I will live. I won't go anywhere. So please stick to your promise. And now leave me here and you can go to Kashi. Pulas Muni became very angry at this and then he cursed Giriraj. He said, you impudent mountain, you have almost cheated me. So I'm going to Kashi without you. But I curse you that every single day you will sink in the ground equal to one mustard seed. So Giriraj is sinking in the ground equal to one mustard seed every day. And actually in last 31 years I have seen. And many Vaishnavas who have lived in Vrindavan for 50 years, 60 years, they have seen how Giriraj is sinking in the ground every single day. So I'm just going to narrate one more pastime very quickly, then we will finish. Giriraj is also connected to Lord Ramchand's pastime. When the Lord was building the bridge on Indian Ocean, all the great monkeys were going around and picking big, big stones. But Hanumanji was going and picking mountains. So he came to Vrindavan because he knew Govardhan is there. He said, Govardhan, Govardhan, let's go. There's a nice chance to serve Lord Ramchandra. And Govardhan said, yes, okay, let's go. So as he was about to lift Govardhan, some monkeys said, stop, stop. The bridge is already built. We don't need any more mountain. So Govardhan was very disappointed. He said, oh, I had such a nice opportunity to serve the Lord, and that's gone. So he was repenting. Then Hanumanji went to Lord Ramchandra. He said, Govardhan is really repenting that he lost this opportunity to serve you. So please be merciful. So Lord Ramchandra said, that tell Govardhan that I'll come in Dwapar Yuga and he will become, Giriraj will become the reservoir of all my pastimes. And I'll personally lift him 7 days while vanquishing the pride of Indra. So this is the day when the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna came, lifted Govardhan Hill, and the devotees celebrate this day very joyfully because this is the festival of joy, celebrating, worshipping Giriraj, offering him Annakut, and then honoring Annakut. So chanting, dancing, feasting, this is what happens on this day. बोलो गिरिराज महाराज की जय, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so we'll finish here. It's 9:30. Any question or comment? Maybe we can just take one question or comment. One question or one comment. Hare Krishna.
Raghupati Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Pradyumna here. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna.
The Katha this morning, and I look forward to the continuation of it this evening.
Thank you, Prabhu. So kind of you. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so can we finish here? Yeah. Karuna Chetan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for wonderful class. His Grace Raghupati Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Srila
you,
Prabhupada
Raghupati
ki
Prabhu.
jai. Samaved Bhaktivinoda ki jai. गिरिराज महाराज की जय. गौर प्रमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you.
Thank you for joining this morning. Continue this evening at 6:30.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna
Prabhu, thank you for a wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a wonderful class.
Very nice class, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the class, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Raghupati Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.